Hi! If you use HubSpot for a while now, you might have discovered this magic button we have under Settings, Data Management Properties, which is Create Property. Indeed, if you work for a company that asks you to create a lot of data or to organize your CRM, you need to create custom property to make sure your HubSpot portal fits the business need of your company. The thing is that if you don't understand exactly how properties are managed, you will end up creating a ton of property that will create duplicates in your data, that will create a chaos in your portal, and is something we absolutely want to avoid when running a HubSpot portal. So the goal of the video is to make sure you understand properly how to create properties, and by how I mean create property only when it's really needed and only in the perfect way based on the property goal. So I created a property blueprint that aims to guide you through several questions on how to create the most adapted property for your need. If you want to find this blueprint with a lot of other content related to the property, you will find in the description below the link to my perfect HubSpot property management guide. It's totally free, so don't hesitate to click on the description below to access it for free. So if you're ready, let's start it. So let's say now your company asks you to create a new property to store a specific data. The first question we need to ask is what is the target object? Because if you don't know, properties are information you will store about a specific object and they are not linked together. So it means a contact property will only store data for contact, company property only for company, deal property only for deal, invoice, etc., etc. So the first thing we should not miss is the good targeted object. Imagine your company asks you to store the data number of employees for a company. You should absolutely create it in the good object, which is company property. So that's an easy first step, but you need to make sure it's a good object, because if not, it will create a lot of issues in your listing, automation, etc. So for this video, we'll do the example of storing the country information of a lead. In our case, we have a contact property because it's the country of a specific contact. Now that we answer the first question, we can go to the second one. What is its role? So basically, properties are information, but they can have multiple roles. I noted like 4 main roles, which are qualitative, qualification, operation, and reporting. What I mean by qualitative, it's simply like a bunch of information a sales need to know about when he will do his sales call, for instance. So it could be previous company or like the message he will let on a contact form, this kind of thing. It will not impact our segmentation or our qualification or different automation in our portal. It will simply give us like factual information about a contact. Qualification, in the other hand, is a property that we will need to use to determine if a lead is qualified or not. Let's say we only target UK leads. If the country of a lead is Italian, we know that is not in our market, so is not qualified. So that's another rule for the country property, which is determine if this lead is in our market or not. Then we have operation properties. Like if you watch my video about the switch properties, they are one of these roles. The goal is simply to create properties to be able to trigger specific automation or to make our workflows work smoother. And the last role I thought about is the reporting. Is property you will create only to display a specific information on a report. So let's say you want to have a report based on the different region of the world. You have the country information, but if you try to draw a report of those countries, you will have like 200 different values because we have 200 countries in a spot. You might want to create a property named region and to put like EMEA, North America, Africa, Southeast Asia, etc., etc. There are properties that will not impact your different process or they don't give any value to your sales, but they are here just to display good reports in your HubSpot dashboard. Of course, you can have other roles like marketing segmentation, etc., etc. But you got the idea. The idea is to define a role to be able later on to define what property type is the best for the need we have right now. So the role of our country property we want to create for this example is qualification, because let's say our company only targets European markets. We want to be able to know the country of a lead, to know if it's qualified to buy our product or not. Now we have the target object, we have the role, and we can go to the source. What do I mean by source? Is the way we will collect data for this specific property. So maybe you realize that, but in HubSpot, you have several ways to put value under a property for a specific record. You can do it by import files, Let's say you have like this 100 leads you import and you put their country in a specific column to be able to store this information in HubSpot. You have the manual part. You will simply go to a specific contact record and change the value manually. You can get information by leads filling a specific form, which is like the most inbound way to collect data about a lead. But you also have other sources, which are integration. So for instance, you connect HubSpot to a third-party app. So I did a video about Qualify last month. That's a good example. When you will connect Qualify and HubSpot, Qualify will create specific properties that work with their app, and Qualify will automatically populate their data into those properties. So that's another way to collect information, is through integrations. And my favorite is the automation part. Within a workflow, you can define the value of a specific property. So for our example of the source, let's say we will directly ask a lead in a form about his country. So now we have the target object contact, the role qualification, and the source form. You might don't see the point of focusing on the role and the source, but that's really primordial to make sure you create the good property type. Let's take a small step back and explain why role and source matter that much. If it's a qualitative role, it's just a factual information that is stored there. So basically, it can be any kind of type. Mostly it will be like single line text or multiple line text, because it's not the data we will play with our CRM. However, the qualification role, for instance, the concept is to take a property and say, is the data inside this property fit our business targets or not? It's like a yes or no kind of operation. So we can't put a single line text for a qualification property, because we want to be able to anticipate the value to make sure we can create automation that say, if qualification property is equal to that, then yes, or that, then no. So the role is primordial to determine the type of the property we will use. And the source is also another point to take care of when creating the type, because it's how the data will be generated. When it's import or manual, it's fine because you have the full control on the data you will put under this property. So if we take our country example, you can write France, France, exactly for all your French leads. So you will be able to segment or to qualify your leads with saying country is equal to France. But when it's a form, for instance, if it's a single line text like the country property HubSpot proposed natively, people will be able to type whatever they want within this property value. So you will have nice lead that will fill France, France, but you will have leads that just type FR, or they will type France with a misspelling or this kind of thing. And you will have a bunch of different values for the same property that aim to represent the same thing. So you will not be able to segment or to use this property as a qualification anymore based on the bad quality of the data. Automation, you will have the full control on it, because same as import or manual, you define what value go under what. But integration, we take back the example of Qualify, you don't have the control of the value that will arrive in your CRM. Is the integrated app that have their own rules, and they will send the information they want to send you. So basically, when you need to decide a property type, the role will be the most important thing, but you need to take into account the way you get the data, because this might be something you can or can't control, and you need to fix it if necessary. Let's say the integration of LinkedIn sends the country as a single line text value. You might want to take this information, create another property that is a drop-down select, and create automation that will automatically convert this LinkedIn value into our new drop-down select property. And once we said that, we have the most appropriate type. So what is the type? Is simply the format of the value you will be able to enter in this specific property. So we have a lot of different properties. We will just check them right after. We have multiple checkboxes. You can choose several predefined options under a property. You have date, date and time, single line text, multiple line text, drop-down menu, etc., etc. So now that we answer which is the target object, the role, and the source, we will be able to choose the type for our country property. So it's a contact property that aims to be able to qualify our leads. So if we want to qualify our leads with automation, we need to have predefined values under our property. And for the predefined value, we don't have that much choice. Well, let's say we call it country test. We will basically have multiple checkboxes, radio select or drop-down select. When you think about a country, people mostly come from only one country. So the multiple checkbox, you don't really need it. So our choice is based on the radio select or drop-down select, and is where our source matter, because we will put this property under a form. So basically a drop-down select is this kind of field. You click on the option and you will be able to choose the good value you want. Radio select will be a listing of all the different values directly on the form. When we talk about country, we talk about like 200 something values. We don't want our form to be full with 200 different values, so we want a drop-down select to make it a bit more readable and user-friendly. So we will choose drop-down select. And now we just need to write down all the different values we want. Of course, for the country, as I said, it's 200 something values, so we don't want to do manually. Fortunately, HubSpot let us load options. We can choose the country and automatically our 254 country will be added to this form. So that's a good way to think about the perfect property type based on those 1, 2, 3, 4 questions. However, it's not sufficient to be sure you create a property that is really needed. The first thing you need to check after is there a similar property already in your portal? If it's no, you can create the property. But in our case, I will stop creating this country. And if you type country, we already have 4 native HubSpot property. So country region, single line text, IP country, single line text, country region code, single line text, and IP country code, single line text. So technically, we need to go to the yes part because we have a similar property in our HubSpot portal. So we go down and we have, is it the wrong type or object? When we check, is a contact property, so there's a good object, but when we think about the type is where we have an issue. As I said, is a single line text property for all of those properties, and we don't want the people that fill the form to be able to write whatever they want. We absolutely need a drop-down menu for this specific property. So it's yes, it's a wrong type, so we go down. And then we have, does it has value you want to keep, or are you tied up with fixed incoming data? So it depends on if you use this country property for a while and you don't want to lose everything. Let's say it's a new portal, so you don't have data. You can then create the property. So we will do it again together. We call it country drop-down menu. You call it however you want though. We will choose the drop-down select. We'll add options, which are country, and we create it. So now we create our property because we know we need it, and is a drop-down select menu. Now, if you want to keep the data of the whole country region property, and you need to fix it, you might need to either copy the data from this previous property to our new created property, or you will need to create turnarounds with workflows to find a way to transfer the data to this new property. Let's see a quick example to see how we can do it. So once creating a workflow, you choose the object of the property you want to create. Here's a contact based. If you follow my videos on HubSpot workflow properties, you will find this form as well. You just like fill all the options. Here is data management. For the durability is supposed to be a one-shot because after that cleaning, we will never use the country region native property anymore. And actions is simply modifying properties. We click on next and we can start our workflow. So you will set up the original property you want to copy to the new one as an environment trigger. And here for the country region is a really annoying example, but how it works. We will simply create event branch for each of the possibilities we have. So let's say we want to transfer all the French, UK and Italian information from this old property to the new one. You just click on plus, you click on branch, and we will do an OR logic. So first one is UK, second one is Italy, and third one is France. And once we plan those different branches, we need to create the conditions of those branches. So you click back on UK, you add criteria, and we will go to the country region, and we will add all the values that might be considered as UK. So we will have UK, United Kingdom, England, Great Britain, GB. We can have even England with a misspelling. Basically, we need to check all the different values you have for this specific property that match England and copy paste them here. We do the same thing for Italy. So we have Italy, IT, Italy with a misspelling, and same for France. We have FR, France, France with a misspelling, and we can save. So the last thing we need to do is simply to click on CRM, edit records. Property to edit is our new country DD menu, and for the value, we will choose United Kingdom. For UK, we can clone that in IT. We will have Italy, and we do the last thing for France, and we choose France. And once you're ready, you just click on Review and Publish, you enroll existing contact, you click on Next, and you turn on Workflow. That way, you just have transferred all the old value to the new property you created, and then you can stop using this old property and focusing on this new property. So that was the blueprint on every question you should ask yourself before creating a new property and how to fix the transfer of value from an old property to a new one. I hope this video was clear enough. If it's the case, don't forget to put a thumbs up and to subscribe to this channel. If you want to access to this blueprint and a lot of other content and tips about the property world of HubSpot, don't forget to check on the description below the link to my perfect management guide for properties. It was Greg. I wish you a great week and see you next Wednesday.